Today we are talking about everything that you need to know about moving to the Kyle, Texas area. We are going to take a look inside the laptop to look at the overview of Kyle so you know what is where. We're going to be talking about school districts, we're going to be talking about locations of grocery stores, of shopping, everything you need to know about Kyle, Texas, we're going to cover today. Today we are talking about Kyle, Texas. So Kyle is a suburb south of Austin. You can see here's the outline right here. Here is downtown Austin. And as you go south, you're going to go south on I-35. You're going to pass Buda, and then you're going to end up in Kyle. So it's the second suburb to the south of Austin. So Kyle is about 20 miles south of Austin, and it is about, I want to say 80 miles north of San Antonio. So down here is San Antonio. Same thing. You take I-35, you drive up, you're going to hit Kyle, and then you're going to keep going, and then you can hit Austin. So closer to Austin than San Antonio, but it's kind of in the middle. So like I said, Kyle is located along I-35, and that's the best way to get to it. You can take some side roads, you can come down here, take some side roads down. I've done this plenty of times, but usually I-35 is just going to be your best bet. It's just a straight shot. So that's usually what I end up doing. So a little bit of the history about Kyle. It was founded in the 1880s, and the population was kind of stagnant for a very long time. In the year 2000, the population was 5,000 people. By 2020, the population was 55,000 people. So there's a huge boom in population, and really it's all come in the last 20 years. 75% of all homes in Kyle were built in the last 20 years. So that just shows that there's been so much construction, so much growth of people that are looking to be close to the city, but they want to be out a ways. Like I said, it's only 20 miles to get to Austin. It's not that far. Let's see what what the time would be if you wanted to go right now. So if you're downtown Austin to get to Kyle at 1:30 p.m. on a Thursday, it's going to take you 30 minutes. If you were going to do this, let's say 8 a.m. today, that's going from the capital to Kyle. So the other way around is where the traffic comes, because a lot of people live in Kyle, commute to downtown. So it's going to take you 40 minutes to an hour and 15, which is kind of a long commute for some people. For some people, it's not too bad. If you work downtown, it might be a little bit far, but let's say you work in Buda or you work somewhere in South Austin, that commute is not going to be too terrible. If you're going to leave from downtown at 5 p.m. and head home to Kyle, you're looking at the same amount of time, about 45 minutes to an hour 15, hour 20. So it can be a long commute. You're looking at roughly just planning on an hour each way, depending on the day. So that's definitely something to think about, is where are you going to be working? If you work from home, this obviously doesn't matter to you. If you have to commute to downtown frequently, it's a toss-up. It depends on you and your personal situation if this is doable or not. So like I said, Kyle really just kind of straddles the I-35 right here. And downtown Kyle is right here off to the west. So this is downtown Kyle. We're just west of I-35. And they have a nice little downtown. It's a nice historic downtown. I actually drove on it last week. And they have some nice little historic buildings. It's still pretty small downtown, but it's got some charm. You got City Hall right there. You have what looks like a buffet. And Kyle's crown jewel is the Texas Pie Company. Kyle has a slogan of the pie capital of Texas. And this is very apparent here on the Texas Pie Company website. They love their pies. They have pie festivals every year in Kyle. And I honestly haven't eaten here, but after researching this place a little bit more, I really, really want to go try some of their pies. I want to get some pictures of these. You can see here, they just have tons of options. It looks so good. They have the big sizes and then the individual sizes. But anyways, I'm not gonna ramble on about pie, but I need to check it out. So if you are going to be living in Kyle, finding grocery stores and your basic necessities is going to be pretty easy. They basically have everything you could possibly need. They have an HEB Plus, which is the equivalent of a Walmart Superstore, which they have both. They have multiple Dollar Generals. They have Poco Loco, which is a Hispanic food market, which is really good. Yep, that's what I thought. They had a Target as well. They have Lowe's, Kohl's. Everything you can need is really just right here. So this is where, you know, most of the shopping that you need is going to be. There's also a lot of restaurants right along here that I've been driving through, and I just stop and grab something to eat really quick and keep on driving. So in terms of grocery shopping, everything you can possibly need, you're going to have access to in Kyle. If you were looking to get some shopping in, there's not a ton in Kyle itself. So you have, like I said, you have Kyle Crossing, which is where I was just looking, the HEB, the Target. This is just a massive retail space where they have, you know, they have Ross, they have other stores that can give you some type of shopping experience, but it's not a ton, honestly. Your best bet if you need to get some clothes or something is to go to the San Marcos outlets. Those are located just south, not too far. So that's where they are. San Marcos is the next town to the south of Kyle. So here's Kyle, drive down I-35, you hit San Marcos, and then you have their outlet mall. They have everything there. I've driven all the way from North Austin down to there, and they had everything we could possibly need. So in terms of shopping, that's going to be your best bet. If not, just heading up to Austin. If you need anything specific, Austin's going to have whatever you might need. Okay, next let's talk about housing. So these is a spreadsheet of all the homes that have sold in the last 30 days. So right now we are end of October. In the last 30 days, they've sold 153 3 bedrooms, 208 4 bedrooms, 23 5 bedrooms. And here's a quick breakdown. So what I like to look at is the median across all of these. So the median 3 bedroom, 1,600 square feet. It sold for $310,000, and it sold in 43 days. 4 bedrooms, 2,300 square feet, $364,000, and it took 53 days to sell. And then 5 bedrooms, there's not a ton. The median is going to be 2,900 square feet, sold for $443, and sold in 44 days. So the reason I bring this up is compared to the Austin Metro as a whole, Kyle, the homes are actually moving relatively quickly. So these homes are, 53 days is the most amount of time it takes. And across the whole metro right now, we're looking at 74 days is the average days to sell a home. So the transactions are moving pretty quickly in Kyle. Kyle's still having a lot of traction coming through. What this doesn't account for is how many of these are new construction homes versus existing homes. So this is just every home that's sold. So this is a big mix of both. And a lot of homes that are for sale end up being new construction homes because a builder will just they'll have 15 homes for sale in the neighborhood at any given point. So these numbers do get skewed a little bit, but that's just the way it is with new construction. So here's a map of where the housing is currently being built in Kyle. So right here, this is the downtown area. And historically, Kyle has really been built out up here to the northwest. So up to the west, northwest has typically been more developed, and then it has progressed over to the east as time has gone on. So you can see here, I mean, there's tons and tons that's already planned or currently under development to be built in the Kyle area. I mean, for example, this one right here says 8,200 units. This one is 4,000. This one is 4,000, 7,000. So they are planning on, 100,000 people moving to Kyle within the next few decades. They're really have a ton of development that is going to be coming through to satisfy the demand of all the people that are moving into Kyle. And like I said, 50,000 people have moved to Kyle in the last 20 years, and about 25,000 have moved in the last 10 years. So they are, have a constant inflow of people that are relocating to the area. Here is a quick map of the school layout for the Kyle area. Oops, I zoomed in a little too much. So I know this is kind of hard to tell, but they have this map. It's super easy if you want to Google it. It's just the Hays CISD interactive map. Hays County is the county that Kyle's in, and they take basically everything to the south side of Austin, which this is pretty much the south side of Austin. So Austin's up here, and then everything south until you get down to St. Marcus is going to be within this school district. So they have 6 high schools. They have 16 elementary schools and 6 middle schools. Oh, I take that back. 3 high schools, 6 middle schools, 16 elementary schools. So if you want to dig in deeper, again, you could just easily Google this and figure out where the zoning lands, what school do you want your kids to be in, and that sort of thing. Okay, here is an article that I wanted to share about the city of Kyle. So this one specifically is talking about how Georgetown is growing a ton, but runner up to Georgetown is Kyle. So this survey by the U.S. Census Bureau found that Georgetown was the fastest percentage population growth of a town of 50,000 people, and then Kyle was number 2 to that, and they had a 9% increase, bringing their population to 62,548 people. Kyle is growing extremely fast, and this I also found interesting. The Census Bureau released a list of fastest growing U.S. cities in the U.S. with populations of at least 20,000. Georgetown was number 8 on that list, and Kyle was at number 11. So in terms of growth of towns in the Austin metro, it goes Georgetown, and then Kyle's number 2. And then this also stipulates that number 3 is Leander, which is, if you're looking right next to Georgetown, this is in North Austin. Leander's just to the west of Georgetown. Wanted to talk about something that I'm really excited to see happen to the city of Kyle, and that is called the Vybe trail system, VYBE. I honestly don't know why they call it that, but it is this really cool trail system that they are putting throughout the city of Kyle. So they already have 6.8 miles of existing trails. They're proposing 45 miles of new trails. They have 1 mile under construction, and they are going to have a total of 83 miles of trails. And they here is a interactive map of what's existing, what's proposed, but the idea is to bring the whole city of Kyle together through these trails. So let's say you're up north over here, you can ride these trails, you can go down south, you can cut over, and just have a more outdoorsy lifestyle in Kyle. And they had some very cool renderings for what they're calling these Vybe spots. So here is one rendering of what they're hoping to approve. So this is one of the areas that is going to be connected to these trails. You can see, you have some apartments in here, you have some shopping, and then you have this large strip mall with restaurants and a bunch of walkable things. You can tell right in here, there's no cars. You can just walk around. So they're planning on having all of these in these different locations. Maybe not as big as that one, but they want, like a local restaurant. They want, little bakeries, things like that to give you incentive to want to take a walking trail and end up in this spot, have some playgrounds or something that, attracts people to want to use this trail system. So I'm just really impressed with this. I think it's super unique, very cool what they're trying to do. And I can't think of anywhere else where something like this exists in the Austin area. So they're definitely trying something new. I'm all for it. Once it gets all built, I would love to, take the kids down and ride bikes on these trails and check out these different spots. One other thing I found that was cool that I hadn't heard of is the Uber Kyle $3.14 program. This is playing off Kyle being the pie capital of Texas, and they are offering Ubers to local residents for $3. And the city of Kyle is subsidizing rides up to $10 per ride after you pay the first $3.14. This is for people that are taking Ubers within the city of Kyle. So if you start your ride within Kyle and you end within Kyle, they're trying to subsidize people using the Ubers, short distances. And they're also, trying to make it more accessible, have wheelchair access, things like that. So I thought this was just a really unique way of offering affordable transportation in a more cost-effective way than, putting in a bunch of bus routes, buying buses, things that are really capital intensive. So this might be a way to subsidize transportation for those who need it without, spending all the money on buying all the buses and building out the roads for it and things like that. So I'm optimistic on this. I think it's a really cool test, and I hope it works out. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about moving to Kyle, reach out to me right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.